water right here. Tried to get this on my phone, but it just wanted to do my computer. Okay, let's see. Let me make sure. Got all this on here. Let's see. Did this go through? Yes. Okay. Hi, guys. Sorry, I'm just wanted to make sure I posted it on Instagram. Hello. Let some of you guys come on in here. I know this is random. Also, let me know if you can hear me. I really wanted to, I don't know, set this up better. Is what it is. It's my laptop. Well, hopefully it doesn't overheat because it's a Mac. So if you guys have a Mac, you know they can get real angry if you ask anything of it. Okay, cool. Hi, guys. Hi. Welcome in. I decided to do a YouTube live because I'm not going to lie, I have been not at all able to film really any videos. And also, I tried filming a video 2 days ago and my mic cut out halfway through the video. It's very frustrating. So I'm actually at my dad's house right now. I'm using my sister's office space. So very thankful to have this space. But I really just wanted to come on here and just hang out with you guys, talk about candle making and answer questions you have. So feel free to put some questions in the chat. Hello, everybody. Hi, Erica from Orange County. Oh, you're super close. Super close. That's like hour and a half away from where I am. Hi from Brazil. Cool. What time is it over there? It's always so interesting because I never know what time to come on. So I really just did a time that I was able to come on. So my mom is actually downstairs with my son. So super grateful of that. Sarah, how did you get high ranking on FAIR? Do you use a lot of SEO? Okay, so I have some tips for FAIR based on what I've learned and I know, but it's so hard to pinpoint exactly how we've gotten such high ranking through the platform. And it keeps going up from there. So we've gotten a lot more orders. A lot of people are reaching out to us just through the FAIR platform, not necessarily through like promoted listings or anything, although they do have their promoted listings. But I think it just has a lot to do with being very, very, very active. So both Chris and I are on FAIR a lot throughout the day. So we're on there a lot in the messages, checking things. Chris is checking analytics, just very, very consistent. Obviously, good product photography helps with your ranking, reviews, giving good customer service, all that kind of stuff. Let's see. Yeah, so I put this as candle making because I really want to talk to you guys about a candle making course that I want to create and just kind of get your feedback on that, because with candle making, it's just this wide open ocean with all these different variables. So I really just kind of, I guess, maybe wanted to share my ideas of how I wanted to go about doing it to see, kind of your reaction on it. Cause I've had so many questions and, what do they call it? People asking, if I have a course. Let's see. So, planning my first vendor event. That's really exciting. How many scents should I bring with? Okay. So when it comes to scents, I would definitely bring anywhere from 7 to 10 cents. I would probably recommend kind of a range. It's enough to have a good variety, but not so much that it's going to overwhelm people. So we have brought more than that. I will say, I guess do as I say, not as I do, but we have brought more than that before in the past with our markets. But let me see. Let's see. So with our markets that we would bring, or I'm sorry, with our candles that we would bring to markets, we would have kind of two different sections. So we'd have like our all year round scents, and then we'd have our fall collection and stuff like that. Um, so we wanted to give a good variety, but not so much that it would overwhelm people. So I guess it depends on how many scents that you have. But what I would recommend is bringing 4 to 6 products of each of your scents and each of your sizes. But it also depends on how many people are coming to your market as well. So it's the beginning of September. Should fall scents be included? Oh, with the markets. I would say yes. September is definitely a good time to have fall scents available. So I would definitely recommend to bring fall scents, especially if you have those, because it's something that a lot of people are getting started. I mean, I think there's a lot of businesses that are already having their fall scents out, and it's the beginning of August. Sorry, I feel like my mouth is so dry right now. Also, when I talk too. Let's see. Oh, gonna do this. And how are you doing? I'm glad to know you're Brazilian as well. Oh, sorry. Just trying to catch them on the chat. Just looking up. Good evening. Glad to catch you live. Would love to know what your newest favorite wax is. So I hate to be so boring with this, you guys. When you're really in the throes of having your business and having, uh, going through the motions of really growing a business, it can be challenging to still play around with other waxes. I know when you're in the testing phase, it can be really easy to have that be something that you kind of play around with and have a little bit more experimentation. And I wish I had that time, although I did have ideas of creating a tallow beeswax candle and just have an all natural candle, which is something that I'm still really interested in. But again, in the throes of a candle business, it can be so challenging, especially with how we have everything set up over here with Chris and I doing everything. It can be really challenging to really bring on anything new. But right now we're using soy 10, if that helps, and we still really, really love it. What advice would you give to someone who wants to restart their candle business after 5 to 6 years? Things are so different from when I started. I don't know where to begin. So with restarting your business, if you're wanting to start from scratch, I would think about it as starting from scratch. If you're wanting to revive a brand that you already had, that may be a different way of going about things. But I feel like if you're starting from the beginning and really starting from ground zero, I would definitely get the basics down of figuring out your target market, who you're selling to, how you're going to reach them, knowing exactly the products that you're going to be selling, getting all of that down with your branding, so that way you can really move forward with the direction that you want to head in. And you'll also have a lot better idea of marketing and where you actually want to take your business and how you actually want it to grow. So I know a lot of people actually got started, 2020, 2021, maybe even a little bit before that, took a little bit of a hiatus, and now people are looking to get back into it. I've seen a lot of people wanting to do that recently. And I know that that's probably really daunting because, you started it at one point, and then now, it's been a good amount of time, and now you're trying to get back into it. So I would definitely look at it as the perspective of, think about it as though you have some experience in it already. So that kind of gives you a little bit of an upper hand with it. But now you have a chance to really start off fresh with the knowledge that you knew before. The chat just jumped all the way down. Okay, let's see. So, okay, Butterfly Groove, is it possible to join your branding course? I went to the site recently and couldn't get to the page. I'm going to be reopening that really soon, within the next month. So if you're on the email list, definitely stay tuned for that. I see a lot of people quitting candle making. Do you think it's dying out? I think that just like with everything, there's always going to be something that a lot of people kind of jump on the bandwagon of, which it was really interesting kind of in the 2020 craze of that time. A lot of people were jumping on candle making, hence my channel was kind of like exploding during that time. And then as people started going back to work and started going into different hobbies, and it's not going to be for everybody. So I definitely don't think it's dying out. There's still plenty of opportunities. But it all depends on how people look at it and the means that people have to really keep it going. Because the candle business is, I mean, anything but get rich quickly. It is a long, long game. Hey, Erica, what is your favorite candle supplier for scents? So I love the Flaming Candle, Candle Science. I love Candle Cocoon. Sorry if you hear my dad's dogs barking. They go crazy outside sometimes. What other place? Oh, Cal Candle Supply, of course. And Midwest Fragrance. I believe those are the main places that we get fragrance oils from. Let me see. Scented Haven. I signed up for your course in June. I have not finished it yet, but really love it so far. I'm so glad. I'm really so glad to hear that. I'm excited to launch it again. I know that a lot of people can really, really benefit from that course, especially if you're looking to really up your branding. Hello, love your videos. Thank you. I started my small candle business with a wide range of styles and fragrances, working on starting a new collection, same style, different sizes, and 6 to 8 fragrances. That's awesome. It's always good to have a plan with how you want to structure things, your fragrances. And again, once you know who you're selling to, it makes it a lot easier to choose your fragrances and have your collections. I've been making candles for 20 years. I love this candle chat. Awesome. Wow, 20 years of candle making. I can't imagine how much things have changed within the last 20 years because from what I've heard, I have a friend who's been making candles for 16 years, so just about 20 years. And she says things have just changed so much with the supplies available, the different kinds and all that kind of stuff. So I couldn't even imagine. Mine's only coming up on 6 years in September. Oh my gosh, next month. I think it's September 19th is when I started posting on YouTube. Hi, Erica. Hi. Praying you have a good week. Thank you so much. Let me see. In the OC, it's 1 hour and a half driving distance. I ordered a Memory Box Candle Co. candles a couple times and taking a long time to burn it all. Savoring it. Let's see. Is it okay to have some hangups on one side of the candle jar after the first few burns? So this is, I would say yes, but it really just depends how much. It also depends on how the wicks are performing. So if you have the first burn of a candle and there's, let's say, 1/4 of an inch of hang up of wax on one side, but the candle flames are already starting to weaken after that 4-hour burn, you may be looking at a candle that is tunneled and needs to be wicked up. But if you notice that the flame is still pretty strong and steady, definitely go through the next few burns, because I am of the notion that it's okay to have hang up on the first 2 burns, depending on how the candle overall is performing, and how strong the wicks are and how, the blend and everything is working together, the melt point of the wax. And I do actually truly believe that the melt point of the wax is something that is the most overlooked part of the equation of the candle making process. Paying attention to what the melt point is has a lot to do with the overall performance of the candle and how everything really kind of connects together. So I think it's okay. But again, if there's a lot of hang up and the wick is already starting, or the flame is already starting to look a little low, which you know what it looks like when the flame starts to get a little low and you're like, that looks like it's going to drown out. So just keep an eye on that. Oh my goodness. Okay. I recently launched my candle business on Shopify a month ago, but I haven't made a single sale yet. I'm looking for advice and guidance on how to grow my business and start attracting customers. Shopify. Okay, so it's been a month. So when it comes to marketing, I guess I would ask you, oh, you asked how to grow your business to start attracting customers. So the main thing is getting people onto your website. So this could be done in multiple different ways. I personally have been a huge fan of Pinterest lately. So if you aren't taking advantage of Pinterest, it is free organic traffic to get on there, to get customers to your website. And also just taking a moment to ask yourself who your target customers are, and then figuring out where you can find those people. So if they'd be in certain Facebook groups, if they would be interested in certain kinds of content on your Instagram or TikTok, so you can kind of blend those two things together. So I blended a lot of like motherhood and small business content on my Instagram and TikTok as well, which I recently started posting on TikTok again, which is crazy. Because I deleted that app almost a year ago, but something in me said, I'm going to try to create more content, get more people to my website, which is my whole purpose of posting on social media. So posting on social media, behind the scenes, leveraging Pinterest, and just really trying your best with creating content and essentially just documenting your process along the way. Because the more that you film, the more that you take photos of what you are doing, the better you have of the stored content that you can create, to really get that engagement of people coming to your website. Because I know that it's the driving traffic to the website that can feel like the hardest part. But the more that you are posting your website out there for people to see, the better chances that people will actually find you and come to your website. Hi, do you recommend Soy 10 for wax melts? Dealing with a hot throw issue with the wax I'm using now, a coconut blend. So we don't use Soy 10 for our wax melts. We use California Candle Supply's TW30, and that is a harder kind of pillar style wax. It can hold more fragrance as well. So Soy 10 holds up to 12%, and then the TW30 holds up to 18%, which is crazy. We do, I think, 13% on that. But you want to have a little bit more of a harder wax for wax melts because it's got to be able to pop out a little bit easier and not be too soft. Soy 10 is not the softest wax, but it can be a little soft for wax melts. Have you thought about completely changing your labels? So we went through a rebrand back in November of last. Hold on, I think it's reconnecting. Oh, sorry, you guys. Oh, man. Okay, so I come all the way over here to my dad's house to have some time, and then the internet goes out. Just my luck, I swear. I'm so sorry. Okay. All right. Well, at least you guys were still able to talk to each other. I'm going to go through and answer some more questions. I know a lot of you left, rightfully so. So I apologize. Please let me know. Okay, you can see you now. Okay. Mercury retrograde. Is it really? Is it really? I swear. It's either the moon or it's everything that causes issues, I swear. Okay, give me a second. Let me go back up because I feel like I'll remember the question I was on. If it goes out again, I'm so sorry. I swear. I hate connection issues. Okay. Um, okay, so it was lots of so the question was there's lots of competition. How do I get on Fair as a seller? And so I got on Fair for the first time. This was back in 2021. I put zero effort into it. Oh, by the way, I got accepted super fast. I used somebody else's link to get on or to apply. You have to put in your application. And I didn't put any effort into it at all. So it was a total failure. And then I canceled. I actually told them to just basically delete my account. And then again, I tried getting on. It was 2022, I think the end of 2022, and I didn't get accepted until mid 2023. It was a month before my son was born, and it was a week before the Fair summer market. So it was a really good time to get on. But even so, there were tons of candle companies on there already. So I don't think that it's too oversaturated in any category. I think that anybody could go on there, and depending on how much effort you put into your shop, will make all the difference on how successful you are. Let me see. Okay, I want to say that I'm not going to answer that question. That's kind of funny though. Off-topic questions. Um, Let me see. Hi, Erica. Did you ever take orders through DMs at the beginning? I want to start selling, but not at the point to set up a website. So there are people that do that. I would actually recommend, you know, you could do that. I know a lot of people do that, and you could take payment through like Venmo or something like that. I think there's even apps or something that you could have linked in your bio that can act as a shop. I think there actually, you know what? There is also shopping on Instagram. I have that set up, but I swear I don't even remember how I did it. And I don't know if you have to have, I think you have to have a website in order to do that. So you could, but I personally never did. I actually got started on Etsy first. So if anything, I may recommend Etsy over doing that just to have that kind of shop feel, but without having to spend a lot of time into creating a website or a lot of, money on getting everything set up. Okay, Jill Jones. I'm just starting out. I have 8-ounce jelly jars with the wick size 6, which doesn't melt wax all the way. It's on the sides, burns only the middle. What size wick would work for a 3-inch candle? So it just depends on what kind of wax you are working with, and what series wick you're working with. I know it can be confusing. There's a lot of information out there, but just look and see the series of wick that you're working with. And then also look at your wax and the melt point of your wax, because that will kind of give you some indication. So if it's just burning the middle, that definitely indicates that you are definitely going to need to wick up. I will say a 3-inch candle, and I feel like a lot of us makers can agree, is a very hard size to wick. So don't feel bad if you are having issues with it, because it is definitely a hard size to wick. I would say anywhere from like the it's like 2 points, like just under 3 inches to like that 3 1/4 inches. It's just a hard size to wick, but definitely 3 inches is the hardest to wick, I would say. I'm new to candle making. What are your favorite jars or tins for beginners, intermediate makers? So I am somebody who actually really loves double wicking. That's how I found out that I actually really enjoyed candle making, was when I figured out that I could double wick on a lot of the jars that I was working with. But I would recommend the 9-ounce straight sided jars are a very, it's, I believe, 2.75 inches. So it's not quite that 3 inches. I found a lot that to be an easier size jar to work with than any of the other jars that I work with. So I work with a 3-inch diameter and a 3.25-inch diameter. So just under 3 inches, the 9-ounce straight sided jars, I actually really like those. They're really popular. They come in clear or amber and different color lids. And I think that that's actually a really good beginner jar. It's actually the jar that I got started with too, honestly. Um, I am new to candle making. I just read that question. What are your thoughts on candle box subscriptions? I think they're awesome. My friend actually just started her candle subscription box. I have to be completely realistic with myself, though, with the time that I have. So, candle subscription boxes, they take a lot of mental preparation. So, when you are promising these subscribers whatever you're promising, whether that's a new candle sent every month, which is pretty typical with candle subscription boxes, you need to make sure that you are preparing ahead of time, probably about 3 months in advance, to make sure that you have everything ready to go. You've done the testing on the scents. You have everything ready to go on, if you have custom boxes or little other custom things that you're adding in for each scent. If you're marketing it for Instagram or TikTok or whatever it is that you are creating content when you're making them. So it's definitely a really good way to go because you get that reoccurring monthly revenue, which is who doesn't want to know that they're getting the same amount every single month. But yeah, I think they're awesome. They just definitely take a lot of preparation. And I know myself personally, and I have such a hard time with that. So I have not stepped into that yet. Do you use colors or keep the wax as is? We keep the wax as is. I played around with colors when I first got started, but mainly for wax melts. But I think the main issue for me when it came to coloring my candles was I had a hard time keeping the color the exact same for every single batch. And I think it was just bothering me that it wasn't the exact same color every single time. So I just took out the color altogether. Let me see. Are you still using Eco One wicks for the 13-ounce Cali jars? No, we use CDN 2s. And we also do a blend of soy 10 with a little bit of beeswax. It's how we control how hot it's burning based on the fragrance. So we actually control the wax blend and we keep the wicks the same. So we don't do different size wicks for our bigger Cali jars. We just play around with how much beeswax, and that's going to change the way it's going to burn based on if the oil is heavier or if the oil is lighter. How is fair going for you? Was the summer market good for you this year? Yeah, it was actually really good for us this year. Chris is busy right now with orders. He's actually that's why I'm here, honestly, you guys. I haven't had any time to film because he has been taking over the candle room pretty much every single second. But I understand because he's got to get the orders out. But it's really hard to pull him away from working on orders for me to try to set up space on tables to film. And again, understandably so, because he's got to get the orders out. But yeah, it was really good. I think we got 10 orders and I don't know the dollar amount. But yeah, we did pretty good. We've gotten a lot of new retailers as well, which is awesome. Let me see. How do you look for your target audience? So I do have a video on my channel on how to find your target market. And it really all has to do with just understanding the value that you bring your customers with your candles, knowing from the core, like why people are wanting your candles, and then really just aligning yourself with a niche and figuring out who your one ideal customer is from the connection to your niche and understanding what they value. And you really just want to figure out one specific person in mind, because when you're thinking about a group, like a large group of people, like an audience, that can feel overwhelming. But if you kind of bring it down to just one person, it makes it way less overwhelming and it makes your decisions way more definitive, because you're able to think, oh, would Taylor, my ideal customer's name is Taylor. Would she like these fragrances? Would she like this kind of candle subscription box? Those are the things you can think about when you really narrow everything down and you think about one specific customer who you've created this detailed outline for. That is when you know and kind of have a better understanding of who exactly you're selling to. And then you just kind of frame your whole branding, your marketing strategy, and everything around that. Do you have TikTok Shop? If you do you like it? I do, but I don't have any products on there yet. I tried to set it up. This was over a year ago, and I just never finished it because that's a lot of my life with a lot of things I do. And man, I get emails all the time of all the updates and everything. I can't unsubscribe to them. I don't know why. But since I've gotten back on TikTok, I really want to figure out how to get my products on there because might as well. But no, I've never gone through the selling experience on TikTok yet. I wanted to do candles and soaps, but was scared it was too saturated. I mean, I get it. I understand this. And that's why I've made a lot of content talking about oversaturation, fear of oversaturation, all that kind of stuff. But really, if you look at it as you can have the same product, but a different market, it really kind of opens your eyes to the fact that there are, I mean, thousands of different markets out there, and the potential is crazy. So one thing actually I'm really excited about, and I'm gonna make a video on it as soon as I can, but I am going to be hosting my very first in-person candle making workshop at the end of the month. And that is just another way to diversify your income as definitely a candle business owner. But I mean, there's retail, there's wholesale, there's bulk orders, there's, custom event orders, there's, experiences like candle making workshops. There's so much that you can do with a candle business that is so much more than just making a candle, putting it up on Etsy and just hoping that somebody buys it. There's so much that goes into it that you can really tailor specifically to certain individual markets. And when you know that, it makes you, it kind of really opens your eyes to the fact that it's not oversaturated. You just have to figure out how to find your market and really make a product that they are going to love. How much would you recommend for startup costs? So I did a video on that a little while back, and I would say on average, and this may be on the lower end for some people, maybe on the higher end for some people, about $2,500 for like from start to finish. So with all the testing, all the materials and all that. Now, granted, you don't have to spend that much. There are people out there who just spend a couple $100s and really just start local, start selling on Facebook groups and really just kind of build up from there. But if you are, let's say wanting to do a local market as the first time that you go out and sell, you're going to have product, you're going to have supplies. There is an investment component to it. But if you compare it to other businesses out there, it's really not that much for a startup cost. Let me see. Let me just double check chat. Okay, so you guys are still, let me see, still leaving questions. Double wick gang for life. That's funny. she read the Slim Shady question. Yeah. Sorry. You guys are funny. Let's see. In your opinion, is offering wax melts worth it? Okay, some people make their entire business surrounding wax melts. For us, it's become our slowest seller, definitely. We have our larger 10-ounce candles. We have our smaller candles, or 6-ounce candles. Then we have our little gold candles that I now offer on the website as sampler packs, which are doing fantastic, by the way. And then we also have wax melts and room sprays. And out of everything, wax melts sell the least. But we do have quite a few wholesalers that still purchase wax melts from us. And it's one of those things that I've thought about maybe discontinuing, but again, it's not really costing us anything to still have the materials for it, because it really doesn't take up that much space, or like, we buy the materials and it lasts us quite a while. So I don't know. Plus, we use wax melts as samples for our retailers. So we make sample packs out of little wax melts. So we'd have to keep it for that, anyways. Um, by the way, I hope you'll consider doing more lives in the future. I've been missing interaction with the candle making community. Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like the candle community went like this and then it went like this. And now it's starting to kind of go back up a little bit, like starting to, have more interaction and try to connect a little bit more. I used to be terrified of doing lives. Like I'd be like, oh, panicking beforehand. And now I'm just like I would have freaked out 3-4 years ago if the internet went out. Now I'm just like calling Chris, like, how do I get back in? Like I need to get back in and talk to these people. Okay. Let me see. So yes, I would love to do more lives on here, just hanging out, just answering questions, talking about things. Um, let's see. How long do you wait for the candle to sit before you sell them? I see some people sell them a day or two after making them. Is there a time frame for allowing the candle to get stronger? So this comes with experience of your own candles, your own product, knowing how they're going to burn. For us personally, we have made and shipped off candles within a day or two all the time. And it's only because I know that with our wax, the scent is going to be just fine. It's a strong hot throw, regardless of if it's been 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months. It's going to be a strong hot throw. Now, the only difference slightly is going to be the performance of the candle, but it's not going to be so drastically different, in my opinion, in my experience, that it's going to completely ruin the candle if the candle is burned, right away or within a few weeks from then. I don't know if we would be able to do business the way that we do if we had to follow the 2-week rule before actually shipping the candles off. So especially for our wholesale clients, if we make a candle, if we make the order and then ship it a couple days later, there's going to be about probably 4 to 7 days in transit, whatever it is. And then hopefully they get it on the shelves right away, but they may not. And then depending on how long it takes for the customer to purchase. So there is a time frame in between. But yeah, I mean, we have made and sold candles within a couple days and had people light it. I think that after a while of being a candle maker and being in the business, you kind of break some of the rules a little bit that are not like drastic, that are not like, like I would never put like 25% fragrance oil. That would give me a heart attack. But making a candle, having somebody light it a couple days later, it's not a big deal. Let me see. Okay, so that was when I lost. Okay, so now I'm going to go back down here. I just want to make sure I had the questions from above. Let's see. Okay, interesting question. I usually don't talk about Mixi, but what are your thoughts on makers choosing Mixi products first, especially with higher pricing, but the quality of fragrance wax is amazing? Do you suggest starting smaller? I think it just depends on your goal with your business. Some people have that margin in their pricing. So if you are really working on your branding to be a very high-end brand, then you can kind of get away with spending more on your supplies, but you really have to go through and do your cost of goods, because if you're going to, be spending, I don't know, $11 in your cost of goods, but you're only charging $20 for your candle, that's probably not going to be a good business decision. But if you're charging $47 for your candle, then the math makes more sense in that regard. So it just depends on, what your ultimate goal is for your business. I have no problem with people doing that if they are wanting that specific product to be, or those materials to be a part of their business. I've just started making candles, bought some supplies from Hobby Lobby, bought wood wicks, made the candle, but the wick goes out every time it's lit, or the wax. Oh, is it the wax? Is it the wick or the wax or me? Did you get all your supplies from Hobby Lobby or just like the wax? Do they have wood wicks at Hobby Lobby? I have not been to Hobby Lobby in so long, but I did. I think the first time I ever made a candle, it was either Michael's wax or Hobby Lobby wax. I can't remember. It could be a multitude of factors. Maybe the lower quality supplies. I would highly recommend getting supplies from a candle supplier. I mean, just, type in candle supplier, Candle Science, Flaming Candle, California Candle Supply. There's a lot of suppliers out there that have a lot of higher, more, I guess you could say, professional type of supplies. Hobby Lobby, Michaels, that kind of supplies can really yield not so great results. So it's hard to tell. It's hard to know exactly what the issue is without really seeing or being able to know what kind of materials it is. But that's kind of would be my best recommendation. Let's see. Phyllis, just to answer your question, what we're going to be doing today, we're just hanging out. We're just hanging out, answering questions, talking about candle making, some candle business questions as well, and just kind of reconnecting with you guys on everything. Jill, I've never heard of Fair. Is that an app that we can use for our business? I'm sorry, I need to go look. So Fair is a wholesale marketplace. You can think about it like Etsy, but for people like us that have retail, online retail stores for our candle business. We're the manufacturers. We can sell our products to actual brick and mortar retailers and have that wholesale to retail connection. So you sell your products at a discounted rate, but it's a bulk sale. And then retailers then take your product and then they resell it. But it's just kind of like Etsy, but for wholesale. I've been looking at the farmer's market. Do I need to have a business license or a seller's license in the beginning? So there are a lot of vendor management companies that put on events in your city. And depending on who is putting it on, they may require a seller's permit. But either way, I would recommend for everybody to get a seller's permit because depending on the depending on the state that you live in, if you have to pay sales tax on what you purchase, any kind of materials that you are using in your finished goods, when you have a seller's permit, you actually don't have to pay sales tax on that because you're collecting the sales tax from your customer when they purchase from you, and then you remit that to the state. Not a legal professional, not a tax expert, just my experience. But I think it just depends. You can always contact who's ever in charge of putting it on, ask them what the requirements are, and then just kind of go from there. Do you know how to make cold throw smell better? Because when the candle cools down, it doesn't smell good. So cold throw, it can be hard because some waxes have a better cold throw than others. I've actually heard that cold throw has a lot to do with essential oils. So the essential oils in the blend of the fragrance can actually help to increase the cold throw. I know that doesn't help with answering the question. Just a little fun fact that I had heard years and years ago. Don't know how true it is, but it is something that makes sense to me. But I guess I would just ask what wax you're using and what fragrances you're using and what is the temperature that you're adding the oils to the wax at when you're mixing it together before you pour the candle. I actually have a lot of questions. How do I tell that all right now? Do your best. Let's see. Erica, thank you for all the knowledge you kindly share. You're truly appreciated. Thank you. I'm so glad. I mean, it's fun to still, after all this time, for you guys to still be interested in what I have to say, because I've been on YouTube for so long now. Let's see. Oh, you asked a reed diffuser question. I'm so sorry. I don't know anything about reed diffusers. I have a feeling it's probably the same way that you would blend and create fragrances for candles, but I'm not exactly sure. Hi, Angela. Yes, you did make it. You made it after the crash of this live stream too. Let's see. Another boom is coming in the candle world. Be prepared. I feel that too. I kind of felt like there's going to be, oh my God, what am I saying? Almost like, you know how there was a baby boom? I feel like there's like baby boom this time, like post COVID. Like after COVID, I feel like, I mean, I had my son in 2023. So many people were getting pregnant 2022, 2023, 2024 this year. Like I feel like this is like the new baby boom. Do you have tips on how to find and get selected for vendors? I've looked for Artist Alley in the past, and they often have long lists and take months, years to get to. So I would just look at your local Facebook groups. I would look on Instagram and just type in events, and then your city name. Try to find the event management company. You can also just drive around to popular areas in your city on Saturdays and just see if you see white tents. Because if you see white tents, there's events going on, and then you can kind of see what event is being there, look it up, even go talk to people to see if you can talk to any of the people that are running it. To just see, because yeah, it can be a little hard in the beginning to know exactly how to get connected. But once you figure out who these event management companies are that are working alongside the city, then you're able to really, figure out where their applications are and everything. But Instagram is a good way to do that. Let's see. I keep losing this because it keeps like updating. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, that is on the low end for business startup. Yeah, $2,500, 3,000, somewhere around there for a business startup for candle business. Hey Nick, hi friend. Just wanted to say hi. Hi. Shipping costs are really expensive. What's the best way to handle them? Just try to do your best with packaging your candles in the safest way possible, but in the smallest package possible so that you can try to ship it the best way. So, I got to be honest with you, I haven't been doing the shipping in so long because Chris does all of it. But I do see all the updates because we use Pirate Ship, and I know that every year they increase shipping costs. And it just is one of those things that we just can't get away from when it comes to business. So I do have a course on shipping if you have absolutely no idea about anything with shipping, but it just kind of goes through the best ways to choose because shipping, the hardest part about shipping is the fact that it's not a one size fits all. It's not every single order I'm going to ship it the exact same way. Sometimes you can ship it inside of like a padded flat rate envelope with a box inside, and that'll be cheaper. Sometimes you can ship it on the box its own, and that'll be cheaper. It's really just kind of you learn as you go to see what the cheapest way is to ship, and just kind of do your best with that. Because yeah, shipping costs is definitely a hard part of business. Let's see. Makesees has supplies in Hobby Lobby. I didn't know that. I did not know that. Wow, that's kind of cool. Where do you get your jars now, or what is the best place to get jars? So we've always gotten our jars from California Candle Supply, but we actually get our straight-sided 9-ounce straight-sided jars from Candle Science. I know Flaming Candle also has them. I think Fillmore Candle Supplies. There are also jar supply companies out there that's not a candle supplier, but they have a ton of jars. And you can get a good bulk discounted rate on them. Let's see, it keeps jumping down. I'm doing a coconut and beeswax blend. What wick would you recommend for that blend? Thank you. It depends on how much beeswax and coconut. I know you're not asking really the size because I don't know the size of your container. I personally love the CD or the CDN series wicks. Those are my favorite and my preference. I used to use the Eco Series wicks. Those could work really well too for coconut beeswax. I would try the CD or CDN series wicks though when you're first getting started with that. And it really just depends on how much beeswax, unless that's a pre-blend. And in which case you would just do the best you can with choosing one wick or two, depending on if you're doing single or double wick, and just having a starting point to really see how the candle is performing, and then go from there whether you need to go up or down in the wick series. I just started making candles and started with a kit from a candle supplier. I followed the directions exactly, and the candle had a great cold throw, but a few weeks later it was gone. Um, I wonder if, see, there's these little things that happen that I'm like, man, I don't know, because it's all science. And I'm like, I don't know if it has something to do with the distribution of the fragrance oil in it. And obviously, I'd have to know more, like, what are the supplies, what kind of fragrance, what percentage, what temperature did you add the fragrance oil to the wax at? Because I feel like that is one of the most important things, is that temperature that you add the fragrance oil to the wax at. But yeah, I'd be interested to know more. Let's see. So happy you're doing a live, but I have to go. Are you going to be doing more of these? I have so many more questions, but it's the end of the workday and my brain is done. I get it. Yeah, I'd love to do more of these. Yeah, just as soon as I can. I mean, honestly, this is fine over at my dad's house. It's really not that big of a deal. But as soon as Chris gets, that isn't taking over the candle room as much, I can definitely do more lives on here for you guys. Oh, yes, thank you. Eventbrite is a great site to find vendors, and so is Facebook. Yes, definitely Eventbrite. I would definitely recommend that. I've been watching your videos before you and Chris got married. I'm so proud of you and your family. You rock. You inspire me. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I know. Chris and I got married three years ago. It was March of 2022. Let's see. What do you mean by oils being 25%? Oils being 20. Oh, I was making I think I was saying that even though we will make candles and ship them a couple days after that, because I kind of break the rules there with the 2-week rule. But what I wouldn't break the rules on is the fragrance oil percentage. So this is the ratio of the fragrance oil to the wax. So this is really important. So all wax will be able to hold a different amount of fragrance oil. So you can go to the supplier website or even the manufacturer website, if you know it, of the wax that you use, and you have to make sure that you know how much fragrance that wax can hold, because if it can't hold above, let's say 10%, 12%, whatever it is, and you're adding a ton more fragrance in there, then what happens is it starts to seep up above the wax, which leaves, fragrance on top of the candle. Obviously, we do not want the flame touching the fragrance oil. So you just want to make sure that you have that ratio understood when you're doing your math and figuring out candle making. I know that math can always be like, ugh, when it comes to when you get into candle making. I mean, on my most popular video on my YouTube channel, it's almost at 1 million views, which is crazy because I watched back that video. I'm like, oh God, I messed up in it. Like, is what it is. But I did some math in that video, and so many people in the comments were like, she did math, she lost me. So it's not a lot of math, but it is understanding how things work. But I will say, as a business owner, understanding math is very important. I'm not talking about trigonometry or chemistry. I'm not a math person, but just understanding percentages is very important. And that's just my opinion with that, because even with sales tax, you want to understand percentage. Are you affiliated with any of the candle making supply companies? So the only company that now I am, well, I guess you could say affiliated because I'm an affiliate for them, is the Flaming Candle, and that's very recent. So I actually have a discount code to the Flaming Candle, and you get 10% off of your order except for the wax. And what's really cool is it's every time you order. I mean, there's no limit. It's not just for a new person. So I think that's freaking awesome, honestly. But they're awesome. They're, I think, a smaller, like family-owned company, or just like a smaller company. Always had good experiences with them. We have a lot of oils from them. So I really, really like the Flaming Candle. Oh, you're right, Leah. A lot of kits only recommend approximately 6% fragrance load. So that definitely could be it as well, is that a lot of candle making kits will have a probably 100% soy wax with about a 6% fragrance load, which in my opinion doesn't yield the highest smelling candle or highest hot throw or cold throw in a candle. Now, that's not to say that in order to get a higher scent throw, either the cold throw or the hot throw, you just need to throw a bunch of oil at it. I don't think that at all. But I would do a little bit more than 6%, especially if it's like 100% soy wax, like a 464 or something. I'm using Soy 10. What wick series do you recommend? I love CDN wicks and Soy 10. Love it so much. I just think they burn great. I think that CDN wicks are very similar to, or they work really well for coconut wax. And Soy 10 has a similar consistency and melt point to coconut wax. I think it's only a little bit higher of a melt point, but in my opinion, I love the way that they burn. I went from an eco wick, which burns really hot, to a CDN wick, which burns cooler, and cooler wicks burn better with lower melt point waxes like coconut or soy. Which is why when somebody asks me about coconut beeswax, I'm like, it depends on the beeswax, because you may need to do like an eco wick if it's like a lot of beeswax with a little bit of coconut, depending on that melt point, because beeswax is around 145, 147 versus soy wax is like 122, 125, somewhere around there. So it's a huge difference in the melt point of the wax. Oh, I didn't know that the Flaming Candle moved. They broke your heart by moving because it was only 30-minute drive from to the warehouse. Oh my gosh. That would have broken my heart too, to be able to go there and then have them leave. I didn't know that. I have to look and see where they moved to. How many autumn/holiday blends would you recommend for someone starting out? What about a signature collection? Would you say 6 to 8 each is good? That, yeah, I mean, if you can take on that, definitely. I think my first year in business, I did 6 fall, 6 holiday. And that we do, I think 5. I think we do 5. I want to add on some more this year, though. We haven't actually added on new ones in a little while, because we just have a lot of favorites that people love year after year. But yeah, 6 to 8. I mean, if you can do it, yeah, people love. That's the time to take advantage. Fall holiday, absolutely. CDN. I also like HPSP. So I haven't worked with the HPSP. Is that what it is? That sounds wrong, but I trust you that that's right. I have not even thought about those wicks in so long. I haven't tested with those wicks since the very, very beginning. And I don't even know what caused me to switch to CDN, like how I knew about them. I think it was 16, 17, which is crazy. They're like gone. But yeah, I think it was because of 16, 17, I tried them and I was like, oh, I like these better. Which is funny. The CDN wicks, I think it's actually called Stabilo KST or KST Stabilo wicks or something like that. Like from the manufacturer, like what the name of the wick is. Oh, they moved to Ohio. Interesting. I did not know that. I didn't know that. Not sure if this was asked, but which do you prefer, fragrance oil or essential oil? So I've only ever used fragrance oil, but the fragrance oil has essential oil in it. So it's kind of both. Um, but I have actually made a candle with essential oil, and I was pleasantly surprised on how well it actually did. I have a video on my YouTube channel about it because I was always under the impression that essential oil candles were like a big no-no, but I think it just depends on the kind of essential oil. Um, so yeah, I definitely just use fragrance oil in my candles. Hi, I just joined. Been watching your channel for a while. You give me inspiration to start my business. Oh, not candles. Thank you. Interesting. I always find that so interesting. There are a lot of people that watch my channel that are not interested in a candle business, but they still watch me, which is really, really cool. What size room does your smaller candle fill? Was it 6 ounce? Yes. I would say the 6 ounce candle would be fine for a bedroom, bathroom. Honestly, it does pretty well with filling up our living room and dining room area. Sorry, I'm gonna yawn, you guys. I'm getting tired. Um, but I think it just depends on, how strong the oil is. There are oils that are stronger than others, how well it's wicked, all that kind of stuff. But you can't expect a small 6 ounce candle to fill up like a 3,000 square foot space. It's just, not realistic with that. But I would say bathroom, bedroom kind of would be perfect for that size. I'm in New York City, and an accountant I spoke to told me I should form as a C corp, not LLC. I don't know. I've never had my own business before. So yeah, definitely look into that. We are an S corporation, and I definitely understand the legalities of it, the protection, and the tax benefits as well. So definitely look into that to see if that would be a good idea for you. You're welcome. Have you tried paraffin mixed with soy? I've never worked with like paraffin and added it to wax. I know that soy 10 has a very small amount of paraffin to it. But besides that, it's not something that I've like ever worked with before, but I know a lot of people use it for container candles and also pillar candles and wax melts. Is soy wax and wood wick good for candles? Yeah. A lot of people use wood wicks. I have never worked with wood wicks, you guys. I know that's kind of crazy, but I have never worked with them. I think they're so cool. But I think it was always something in my head that I'm like, I got the cotton wicks down. I don't want to start over with something. I got it down. I understand it. And honestly, now that I have it down, I could probably more easily learn wood wicks, which who knows, maybe in the tallow beeswax candle I'm trying to create, I may do a wood wick. I have no idea. Who knows? Who knows? Let's see. Do you have any favorite candle YouTubers wanting to learn from everyone? Okay, so I'll let you in on a little secret. And I've talked with Jeff Stanley about this before. Okay. Sorry. Oh my gosh. Wow, you guys are still here. Thank you. Yeah, my husband texted me. He goes, "It cut out right after you said I'll let you in on a secret." Um, I don't even know. Hold on. What was I talking about? Can anybody tell me what I was talking about? I actually don't know what the secret was. What was it? The internet. Yeah. Thanks, Chris. Yes, it's back on. Candle YouTubers Jeff Stanley. Uh your go-to secret about watching other candle maker YouTube channels. The big secret was Stanley. I'm only laughing because I'm just like, oh, wait, did you guys not maybe it cut out for you guys before I finished talking. I have no idea. All I was saying was I'll let you in on a secret that uh we don't we don't watch a lot. Sorry to disappoint you on the secret, but we don't watch a lot of other candle making content because when you're creating your own content, it can be you can be influenced too much of what other people are doing. Like, I want the content that I create to be because I'm creating it. I'm either responding to questions that I'm getting or whatever it is. And sometimes, in the past, me, Jeff, Wade have all kind of created content similar in topics around the same time. And it's not because we're copying each other, it's just maybe because we're getting the same questions on our channels. So we're just answering it. But yeah, that's so funny. I'm just like, what's the secret? Okay. Um, all right. So now that my husband isn't in here, uh, oh, Chris, you reposted the question. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So a few more questions from you guys because I do have to go downstairs, make sure my son is going to be eating dinner soon, which I'm sure he's got food, all that, but I do have to make him some eggs. So let's see. Justin, I thought S Corp was a tax election, not a type of business formation like LLC. It is a business formation. So it's incorporating your business. So there's S Corp, so S Corporation, and then C Corp, C Corporation. You can have a tax election status when you're an LLC, I believe, as an S Corp. Again, not a tax professional. I know a teeny tiny bit about this stuff just over the years. But again, I would recommend find a local certified public accountant in your area that does small business taxes. See if you can set up just a consultation with them to have your questions answered. It's a good time of year to do that because tax season, it's less slower time, for them. So hopefully they'll have some time for you. Just ask some questions. Let's see. Have you ever used beeswax? Yes, we use a little bit of beeswax in our soy candles, actually. Beeswax has a very high melt point, so it helps to bring up the overall melt point of the candles. If you're finding that your candles are burning really hot, but you don't want to keep changing the wick, we added a little bit of beeswax, kept the same size wicks, and it changed the burn of the candle. What do you recommend for insurance? I'm in California. I have Liberty Mutual. So it's Liberty Mutual Business Insurance. It is general business insurance policy with product liability. You always want to have product liability in there. Is it self-sabotage to watch other YouTubers? Not necessarily. I think it just depends on the person, but I don't know. Sometimes I would feel like, oh, am I getting too many ideas from other people? Am I really coming up with my own ideas kind of thing? But everybody's different. So, I don't think so, but everyone don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you. That's Chris's job to say that. Okay. All right, guys. I hear my son making a lot of crying sounds downstairs, so I may have to go save my parents right now. They've been down there for a little bit with him. Hello, just made it. Oh, I'm sorry, and I'm gonna be heading off right now. But it was about an hour and 15 minutes. Not bad, not bad. So sorry, I feel like I'm gonna get distracted. Is there a math formula for that for the silicone molds? Yeah, you can use just regular candle math formula for any kind of container that you're putting it in. You just have to know the fill weight of that container, whether it be molds, a jar, whatever it is. You just have to know the fill weight, and then you can do the math on it. All right, guys. I am going to sign off before the connection ends again, and I'm not going to be able to say bye to you guys. Hopefully connection will be better next time, but thank you so much. And it was good to know that I was able to just log back on once it came back on. So that was fun. All right. Well, I will try to do another live soon for you guys and hopefully get some more content up because it's been over 2 weeks. It's been like 2.5 weeks since I posted a video. So I'm so sorry. That's why I wanted to come on here, really have that interaction with you guys, but I appreciate it. All right. I will see you guys next time.